Hey, what's up guys, Zokli. We're back here playing some Warhammer 2 online battles. It's been a little while since I played these, but I popped into a quick match just to fight it out. I did hear that there was a new bit of a like a meta build that was happening with the Empire and Gelt. Didn't run into it, so we have a different faction matchup than I expected, but nonetheless it should be quite fun. So it's going to be a Skaven force here massed on the hill against myself playing as the High Elves. The Skaven probably anticipate that the High Elves are going to bring a lot of archers and decent troops. So what Skaven has done here is brought a bunch of pretty much fodder. So straight up Skaven slaves, a lot of fodder troops to absorb archer fire, and then back lines, units that would be able to come and engage and clean up. So storm vermin with sword and shield, a lot of stuff again with shields to guard against range units. And storm vermin should be able to handle themselves pretty decently in combat. So a good idea there. And then in the back he did have some globadiers, 2 manner, one the death glow bombardiers, which are going to be anti-infantry, and then the other one just poison wind globadiers, which are going to be anti-large. So this one perhaps against cavalry and dragons, the other one against lore masters, etc. So yeah, pretty good build. And then to back it up, he is a warlock engineer, which can cast spells, do a fair amount of damage to my infantry once they get bottled up, and then also warp lightning cannon. So pretty sensible build. And yeah, so in terms of my deployment, what have I brought? So pretty small infantry corps, but pretty elite. So 2 Phoenix Guard. Was a little bit scared of rat ogres, etc. And these guys are just resilient in all situations. I have a single swordmaster of Hoeth, a mage with the lore of life to regen whatever I have in my cluster, 2 spearmen and 2 archers, so pretty light on the investment there. Most of my investment is actually going to be in ranged units, mobile cavalry units, so 1 dragon prince, Techless riding along as well. And then what I've brought is I have 3 of these Illyrian Reaver archers. I like to bring these guys on occasion when it's suitable, because it can be pretty powerful. So they're going to be Vanguard deployed in the rear of the Skaven line, as well as some of these Illyrian Reavers. No bows on them. But yeah, they're going to be here, told to harass the Skaven lines. Oh, are these like bones? Oh, interesting. Stones with holes. But anyways, so they're going to be tasked with eliminating the Skaven artillery. Looks like he's starting to panic to try and fire at me. And yeah, this was something I would anticipate the enemy doing. Kind of predicting his counter build, which is going to be, hey, he expects me to bring archers, he'll bring anti-archer units. So I brought a lot of mobile forces, and it seems to be working pretty well. Can dodge in and out with units, pester his guys. His warplug engineer's trying to get shots off, but all in all, being pretty ineffectual here. A couple of them going to be clipping and hitting my horsemen. But if these shots are being wasted on the Illyrian Reavers, who really cares? So the guns are turned the wrong way. All of this is facing the wrong way, and what that does opens me up for an opportunity to strike at the front lines. I'm circling around with my dragon princes, who could easily come in here and knock about these units. And then while he's distracted, Techless comes in, and he's going to go ahead and get this huge spell off here on the entire front rank of storm vermin, burning a lot of dudes as they're lined up there. Huge amounts of HP damage, not too many in terms of the unit models, but it's just softening them up. And then meanwhile, since he's been distracted in the rear lines, the 2 archers that I do have, which were pretty low in number, are going to be making their presence felt up in the front where he's been distracted. There we go, going to be wading into combat, and I'm going to spare the lives of my elves. Pull out the dragon princes if I don't need them, and just kind of wade up and hold position here now that I have the range advantage. These dragon princes scoff at the idea of having to even step over these rats. They can do that in a split second, and the rats will melt away. So pretty easy there. Meanwhile, the main lines are going to get engaged, but I do have some sword masters against slaves. No contest, obviously. And on this flank, he's trying to go wide with the slaves. And I'm just going to hustle around with my spears, protect against that. In the center, where he does perhaps have some storm vermin and queek, I could probably rebuff this. And meanwhile on the rear, we're totally taking this position. The enemy has abandoned it. Not quite sure why he would have done that. He should have probably held this a little bit longer, but I'm cleaning up and securing these positions with my Illyrian Reavers. So really excellent use of this light cav. And now we're going to engage on the rear lines and distract troops who otherwise he probably could have done a lot of damage. These death glow bombardiers, take a look at this. When they focus fire on my Phoenix Guard, Every volley seems to be taking out one of my units, so standing around here will do a ton of damage. We can take a look at these. Yeah, already down to about 60-75% health. But that is, of course, why I brought my mage with the Lore of Life, be able to heal them up if need be. Techless, meanwhile, is going to try and shut these guys down. And with the prevalence of these bows, I can really tie down some of these Globadier units. Probably not going to do too much damage, but it's enough, as I said, to slow them down. Quick's going to disengage from the Phoenix Guard. But yeah, now with the main line tied down, Techless in the rear here, engaged, and we're going to have another one of these bound spells with a Phoenix coming in. I should clean up a fair amount of those guys, elves included, but they should be able to pick themselves up. And yeah, Dragon Prince is in the rear. So overall, battle seems to be going pretty well, and here goes a heal on my own Sword Masters, etc. So pretty easy cleanup battle, going super well. These guys, 60 kills. Storm Vermin also with Flock of Doom dropping, and yeah, was able to destroy that fairly easily. So I felt it was a pretty good counter pick to his counter pick. Flock of Doom is super helpful against Skaven, obviously, who are going to mass up, and that Flock of Doom does a lot of area of effect damage. Really useful to bring that. Net of Amentok can also be useful. Didn't have to use it too much in this fight, but it can be helpful against enemy ogres, rat ogres, or other units that might come into the mix. But here, had a lot of control, just mostly owing to the Cav. So, yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this quick battle. Like I said, getting back into things. I'm going to be playing a little bit more of these quick battles in Warhammer 2, trying to fight that the Empire build. Apparently it's built off of a couple Witch Hunters and some armor sundering. Not quite sure how it plays out, but I'm keen to see how it would match up against it. Maybe this elf one could do pretty well, has some of its own kind of skirmishing potential, can sit back, and then it can hit pretty hard with the Dragon Princes and Phoenix Guard. So this is a pretty resilient build. And yeah, always Vanguard deploying when your opponent isn't quite ready for it can really reap benefits. Because with his force here, he could have sat back and done a lot of damage. Warp Lightning Cannon could have torn through the Phoenix Guard. Same thing with the Warlock Engineer. The lightning strikes that he can get on my guys can do a fair amount of damage, and then he had so many slaves that he could have just sprinkled them around his sides and defended. If I were him, what I would have done is probably reposition some of these guys to guard just the rear of this Warp Lightning Cannon, and just slowly rolled everything up and just created a zone, like a buffer zone around his rear ranks, and then just waited to engage through the front. I think he got a bit too hasty in that sense. But yeah, anyways, I was able to dominate the battlefield with fewer numbers, with the higher mobility there. So really paid dividends. So that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you in the next battle. Peace out.